Hello again, dear listeners. A while back, it was either my wife or I, we went looking on TripAdvisor for the worst hotel we could find in Montreal, or at least the worst rated hotel. And I believe we found it. So here is one of the reviews of the Hotel Eureka here in Montreal. It starts out with this. Words cannot describe the hell that is Hotel Eureka. 1 star. I am going to tell you the story of my visit to the Hotel Eureka. Our odyssey begins one night in October, when some friends and I decided to go to Montreal for a weekend of partying, and unwittingly delegated the task of booking our room to someone who is clearly an idiot for having booked this place. We flew in via Porter, which, as an aside, is a fantastic experience, and caught a cab outside the airport. Our first hint that something might be awry was when the cab driver actually laughed at us when we told him where we were going. To say that this hotel is would be an injustice. The area underneath the seat in an outhouse would provide far superior accommodation to this vermin-infested den of filth. Certainly, an outhouse would be cleaner, more fragrant, more aesthetically pleasing, and safer than the Hotel Europa. When we pulled up in front of the hotel, a man was actually peeing in broad daylight on the sidewalk in front of the main doors. We waited in the cab as he finished and staggered off down the street, then climbed out, grabbed our bags, and headed inside. There were 2 men standing in the lobby, if that term can be applied to the pathetic, decrepit pit of despair that is this hotel's entrance room. The first, an angry middle-aged Middle Eastern man, was screaming at a man whom I can only assume was homeless. The Middle Eastern man saw us, stopped yelling, handed the homeless man his lit cigarette, and trudged off behind the makeshift front desk. We assumed that he worked there, so we went over to check in. After a 10-minute fight over the price of the rooms, which he tried to raise by almost 15%, and wanted payment for both nights in advance, we were handed a key to a room. My friends were sharing a room, and I was supposed to be on my own. But at that point, I told him I was not taking a room at any price until I had seen it. Good decision, as it turned out. The dingy interior of the hotel smelled right rotting fish, cigarette smoke, and vomit. There was a used condom in the hallway carpet, and we heard people having very vocal sex through one of the room doors as we passed. When we reached their room, the door was open. A mousetrap was sitting on the night table next to a collection of beer bottles and a water glass filled with black water and cigarette butts. The blankets were in a pile on the floor, and judging from the smell, someone had clearly defecated in them. Someone else, or maybe the same person, had also relieved themselves in the stained toilet and forgot to flush. Even more strangely, this person also forgot to wipe. More condoms on the bathroom floor. Must have been one hell of a night for the mystery guest. We heard yelling from the room next to us, and something thud against the wall. We did not stay. We did not care about getting our money back. We did the only sensible thing, carefully, without touching anything with bare skin. We got the hell out of it. Never ever stay here. It would be better to just be a homeless person for the duration of your stay in Montreal. Seriously, find a park bench and sleep on it. You will be safer and more comfortable and at less risk of catching some weird illness. P.S. I only gave 1 star because I didn't know I could give 0. I would give it negative 1,000 if I could. So again, what you were hearing there was the worst, or rather the best review ever for a hotel over at tripadvisor.ca. And if you go to that page, you can actually find many other such reviews. A lot of them are kind of old, so maybe you want to check out some of the more recent ones. The one I read was from 2010. Who knows? Maybe things got better. I don't want to diss all over the hotel, but definitely that review is absolutely epic. The background music to the review was very apropos. It's Horror Hotel from 1960. And the movie, I believe, has gone into the public domain. You can watch it over at retrovision.ca. In case you haven't figured it out yet, the theme for this show is actually travel and traveling. And I'm happy to have my dear, beautiful, and highly intelligent wife on, Kelly. And we're going to talk about a few of our experiences traveling over the years. So let's get right into that. So then there's the time that we went down to New Hampshire.
Oh, well, I was going to think about the time we were in New York and the guy was sucking his thumb on the train. But yeah, that's fine. New Hampshire. That was one of our annual road trips.
Yeah, we went down to New Hampshire.
So why didn't we have a hotel? What happened there?
Because we decided that it would be more adventurous just to book hotels as we went.
Yes, it certainly was.
So we just decided that we would just, Jack Kerouac, go out onto the road and just sleep wherever fate brought us.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
And I can't remember. Was it just the two of us back then?
Yeah.
Okay, well that was a little easier.
Hmm?
So, and we were driving along, and which city was this even near?
I don't know.
Like Enniskillen or something, or for
I don't know where we were.
I don't know. But anyway, we were driving along and we needed a hotel. So we asked the GPS, and the GPS brought us onto this little road, and it started to get dark.
Well, it was dark and foggy.
It was it was dark and foggy, and there were like bats in the air.
And it was like a Stephen King novel.
And it finally brought us to this, it was like a 18th century house. Next to it, there was a cemetery and there was a church.
Yeah. Actually, it was the oldest. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was right next to the oldest continuously run corner store in America.
Yeah, right. And there was some sort of popular place where people used to go and stay in like the 40s and the 30s or something.
Maybe.
It was like that. It was like that Shining thing a bit, that movie.
I guess.
And when we got to this hotel,
This B&B. It wasn't a hotel.
The B&B, there was this guy who...
it was quite late. Yeah, we knocked on the door. It was like, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, and this guy
we knocked on the door, yeah.
Hobbling out, limping. And I think he told us that he got the limp from some sort of freak tennis accident or something he had.
I don't know what it was. But I asked him, we were walking up the stairs to the room, and I said, is this place haunted? And what did he say?
I think he said that...
He said maybe, or lightly, or only if you want it to be, or I can't remember what it was. Something.
Yeah, that's creepy. There were probably like little holes in the wall where he could watch. It was kind of scary. But
that was the Flansby.
Ah, Flansby.
Yes, the Flansby Inn on Lake Flansby or Lake, I don't know, Lake something.
It was creepy as hell at night, but but during the day it was really great. I liked it. Didn't we stay like more than one day or something?
No, we stayed one night.
It seems like longer, but it was nice though.
They wanted us to stay longer.
It was nice. The Flansby is a good place. I recommend it. Lots of ambiance.
Oh, Keezer Lake.
Keezer?
Yeah, it was Lake. It's Flansby Inn on Keezer Lake.
Okay.
Yes. We're giving them some advertising.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Shout out to the people at the Flansby. And The wife there made a really great breakfast the next morning.
Strawberries, right?
She didn't make strawberry.
Well, there was stuff with strawberries. There was some kind of berry. Raspberries? Blueberries. Were they like waffles or
no
pancakes?
No.
Jam?
No.
Jelly?
No.
What were the blueberries?
It was a noodle
in?
casserole.
Blueberry noodle casserole?
Yes.
What the fuck?
It was good. Why are you swearing?
On the road around the corner, here's the place to go. The orange roof of Howard Johnson's. Join the folks who know. Good food, good fun, kids count too. 28 flavors just for you at Howard Johnson's. Next stop.
It's Howard Johnson's for a famous grilled and butter Frankfurt in a toasted roll, or a choice steak, charcoal broiled the way you like it. Sizzling on the outside, tender and juicy on the inside. Howard Johnson's is famous for fried clams, tender, sweet, deeply crusted and golden brown, crispy, crunchy, sweet as a nut, and ice cream from the wonderful world of 28 flavors, made with fresh cream, fine ingredients, and ice cream soda, cool, luscious, at the landmark for hungry Americans.
Howard Johnson's. Next stop.
Okay, and then there was New York. What about New York? We took the metro, or the subway.
Well, the very first time we took a cab from JFK.
Yes.
And it was the cab driver who, we were saying it's our first time and everything. And I said, "Oh, you've got to go to Sylvia's. You got to go to Sylvia's in Harlem." So I don't know, whatever. We said, okay, cool, and we went. And Sylvia's is amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
Everybody's got to eat at Sylvia's.
I think there's fat. There's like, I think that even the salads are filled with delicious fortifying fats.
It's pork fat.
Yes.
That's what gives it its flavor.
Not kosher, but delicious.
It's delicious. So we've been there like how many times? Like
at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'd say 3 at least. I bought the cookbook too.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, like that's where the Clintons and everybody goes. And so when we got there and what was it? We would ride the subways, but at first we were a little confused about what express meant versus not express.
Yeah, we ended up on the express. That's the guy sucking his thumb.
Yeah, so you're just basically stuck there. Well, it was air conditioned though.
Was it? I don't know. Everything smells like garbage.
Everything in summertime, New York City streets smell like garbage and the subways smell like cattle. And you look down on the ground and it's like, is this dirt? No, it's just like dirt caked onto the pavement. And you see big signs everywhere saying that this subway has been rodentized, which means they've sprayed deadly poison to kill the cat-sized rats.
No, it doesn't stop them.
Right, and there are people who live in the subways too. I'm trying to find some sources for that for my show.
Okay, then.
Hey, this is Jacob Haller. In my podcast, Tell Me About Your Song, I call up all kinds of songwriters, jazz, rock, folk, electronica, whatever, and all levels of experience from just starting out to established national acts, and I ask them to talk about a song they wrote for about 20 minutes. So if you're interested in hearing creative folks talk about what they do, then check it out at tellmeaboutyoursong.com. Thanks.
So, when did you turn 15?
October 5th, 1998.
On February 14th, 1994.
October 29th, 2002.
November 17th, 1983.
May 21st, 1998.
It's the songs that saved your life. An interview show that explores who we were at age 15 through the music that got us through our awkward years. Each week, my guest will present and discuss 3 songs that they most identified with at that age and the stories behind them. It's kind of like if your sophomore year had a soundtrack. Subscribe at eartrumpetaudio.com or wherever you find your podcasts.
We started traveling a while ago, and we have many different adventures. One of our adventures is our trip to Barbados.
Which trip?
One of the first trips, the one that I melted in.
That happened in the first one? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember.
Yeah, so anyway, I was on the bus.
Well, no, start from the beginning.
What?
How did we get on the bus? Just start, what happened?
Well,
You had this old bag.
Yeah, you have to face the microphone at all times.
This is antisocial.
Yes. Well, you can hold it and face me if you want.
This looks great.
Excellent. Yeah, so I had this ratty old bag that I kept all my books in.
Yes. And you left it on the floor.
I left it on the floor of the abandoned house.
It's not an abandoned house.
No one lives there.
It's my father's house.
No one's lived there in ages.
Okay.
And they hadn't mowed the lawns. No one mowed the lawns.
No, my auntie went and cleaned the lawn. What are you talking about?
Okay, but there was grass all over the place, though. It wasn't cut.
The grass was cut outside. Auntie did that.
Okay, well, I don't remember that part. Anyway, so we left the bag. I left the bag on the floor in the house that nobody had lived in for a long time. And
that's your fault.
What?
That's your fault.
It's my fault that nobody lived in the house?
No, it's your fault you left your bag on the floor.
Right. Yes. So, and then so we got into the bus to go to Bridgetown, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yes. Was my cousin with us?
No.
Is that the one where my cousin was with us?
I don't think so.
Because when there was the time that we went with our cousin and we got chased by the cow.
No, that was another night.
That was the way back, though.
So,
anyways.
So I went.
No, that's when he came with us.
I don't remember him at all.
Anyway, all right. So
we were in this bus, this tiny little bus that careens all around the tiny little roads, and I have my bag on my lap, and basically. I feel this tickling on my belly, and I thought it was probably the strap of the bag or something. So I just went ahead and I would brush it away, but it kept on coming back again and tickling against my tummy. These little sort of little kind of prickly, tickly feelings. And I looked down. And there is a giant motherfucking centipede staring back at
swearing.
Me. And so I freak out and I put the bag very, very gently on the ground underneath of me.
In the bus.
In the bus, on the floor of the bus. And I tell you that I think there's a centipede in my bag.
Yeah, I think you kicked it. Who kicked it? Somebody kicked it.
No. No one believed me, right? So you told other people on the bus that I said there was a centipede in my bag. Nobody believed me because I was the only white guy on the bus.
Yeah.
And then
some guy came and kicked the bag.
Yeah. Some dude kicked the bag, and then the centipede came flying out, and the centipede was almost a foot long.
Not a foot long. You're exaggerating.
8 inches then.
Oh, whatever. It wasn't that big.
It was big. As centipedes go.
No, it's not the biggest.
You have to speak into the mic.
Okay.
And so basically then so the bus is careening along, and the bus driver doesn't slow down, and this centipede starts flying around, not flying, but just they don't have eyeballs and they freak out, and then they just go absolutely berserk and start thrashing back and forth trying to bite anything that they run into. And so that happened, and then all the old ladies, everybody's feet went up on the seats.
Yeah.
And some of the people also said, get it, and they were all trying to stomp on it. So people are trying to stomp on the centipede, and there people are yelling, where is it? And after all this was done, they asked me, didn't they ask me where I was? And I said St. Lucie.
No, they said, yeah, where are you from? And he said St. Lucie. And they said, where are you from, the bush? And you said St. Lucie. And he said, oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then I got off. So then I got off the bus, and Bridgetown, and I was kind of freaked out about this, so I was kind of scared of my bag for the rest of the time. And whenever this particular bus passed us, there was this guy who would stick his head out the window and yell, "Hey, it's Centipede Man." The second time we go to up to Barbados, or down to Barbados, and
that wasn't the second time. It was just a time.
And well, half the time I go down there, I'm dehydrated and burnt and can hardly function. That one time I got the terrible migraine. But anyway, yeah, I was staying at the house, and we were staying at the house rather, and we heard this scratching noise, and coming from another room. So
in the middle of the night.
I can't remember all the details. How did we find out what it was again?
Well, we had rolled up a carpet that day and stuck it in the in that room and closed the door. And so it's the middle of the night, and I hear something scratching and chewing on the door. So I got up and I go and check, and I don't know what it is. So I wake up Sean, and I said, "There's something in that room." So Sean, trying to be a fearless protector, walks up to the door and says, "Hello."
Yeah, I was just checking. Didn't I say something like, "Hello, is there somebody in there?"
You didn't say that. You just said hello.
Hello. I was scared.
Because apparently somebody's going to talk back.
And there was something scratching at the door. And then what was it? We both went on the ground and looked.
So we went outside to look and see if we could see where a creature would have come in. And the windows weren't open, so we didn't see where it was coming from.
And there was a giant motherfucking land crab attached to the side of the house.
There was a land crab, yeah, but that's okay. And, yeah, anyway, it turned out it was a rat.
How did we determine it was a rat exactly? You could see the claws or something underneath the door?
I had no flashlight.
Okay.
And it was trying to eat its way out, so I mean, that was the only logical explanation for what it was.
So we were lying on the floor that night, and looking underneath this door. The rat was trying to claw in out of that room into the room we were in, and then a giant freaking thing scurried past us.
It wasn't that big.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. It was a giant.
It wasn't giant. It was small. I don't know what you're going on about with everything being giant.
It was a centipede.
Yes.
Just scurrying across the floor.
Yes.
And they're like bigger than North American centipedes.
But this one wasn't big.
And they could sting you.
They don't sting, they bite.
Bite. With their little pincher things. So that was kind of freaky. And then there was the other time, the same house, where I was in the kitchen and I was trying to do the dishes. And I walk up to the sink and there's this giant motherfucking centipede staring back at me.
Well, I took a shower with one.
Yeah, that was good too, wasn't it?
They're okay.
And I had to go get a shoe and beat it like 17 times to kill it. Anyway, good times. Go to Barbados.
Right.
Another one of our traveling experiences was actually when we went to Germany, and the hotel that we stayed in at Frankfurt was called the Luxor. And Kelly's going to recount one of the episodes from that stay.
Anyway, so we're standing around at the lobby talking to the front desk guy, just having a nice chat. And a older couple British tourists come in, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, he refuses to make complete sentences in any language. So the man walks in and says toilet, and then he does a curtsy, and he says ladies. So all three of us start cracking up laughing at him. And I then informed him that it was possible for him to speak English in complete sentences. It wasn't really, it shouldn't be that bad. Anyway, the owner of the hotel said, well, normally I don't allow people who walk in off the street to use the toilet, but I'll let you, I'll let your wife go ahead because obviously you're so, I don't know, embarrassing. And while his wife is using the facilities, he then starts complaining and says, does anybody know where I could find batteries? I can't find any batteries. And I said, well, did you try a local corner store? Because that kind of seems to be the obvious place that you could look. Anyway, so that didn't seem to sit very well with him. And I think the next morning at breakfast, not that I have anything against British tourists, because I have family in England, but these particular ones, whatever, I guess in Germany they were discombobulated. So we're there, and the guy is trying to get some orange juice out of the machine. And he puts his cup, and he looks at it, and he's getting frustrated with it, and he says, I don't know how to get it. I don't know how this machine works. And I looked over at him, and I said, well, there's a big button there that says push in English. So push it.
Yes, well, the British need to deal with frontier towns on the exterior of their great vast empire, and it is difficult.
They never took Germany, did they?
No, I don't think they took. I think the Germans took Britain
at some point. Well, maybe they were too confused, so they never took Germany.
Yeah, because English is a Germanic language,
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. If you'd like to listen to previous episodes of Share a Slice with Sean, just go to shareaslicepodcast.ca. You can also subscribe to us there as well. Remember that the intro and outro music for this episode is done by Chromatics Music, Kromatiks, and it's used with permission. You can also give us a 5-star rating or review at iTunes. It really helps out. You can find a link to that over at shareaslicepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you come back next time.